No black hats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to the Parlay Pursuit. I'm coming in to you live from Florida. Boys, when I started this podcast, I was living in New York City, a studio apartment. I was unwed. I was childless. And now I report to you here 5 years later with some new hardware. I am a married man now. I have one child, another on the way. I'm up 700 units, 70 units. And as you can see, Alex, I have two apologies I need to make before we start the show. So we had my wedding here in beautiful sunny Florida this past weekend. And apology number one goes to Dan. Dan, I completely forgot to wish you a happy birthday on Saturday. That is on me.
Oh, God, that's totally fine. My happy birthday was celebrating your wedding. It was sick. Great wedding. Had so much fun.
I was going to have everybody sing for you.
No, I'm really happy that did not happen, so no apology needed. You did better than you even thought you did.
The morning got away from me a little bit there. Second apologies to Alex. Alex, he was my best man. Alex was my best man, as you all probably could have guessed. Dan was a groomsman. Alex gave a phenomenal speech. Everything I could have ever hoped for in a best man speech. And, what I didn't do is I didn't get the delivery in time to give him his best man gift. I'm actually wearing Alex's best man gift right now.
Very nice.
This is a real, what's the man's name, Alex, whose podcast you love so much?
Jackson.
What's the guy's name? Who makes us these?
Bear DiGilio. No way.
This is a Bear DiGilio Cuban link chain. I honestly you might not be getting it because it looks great on me. I love it. No, I'm kidding. This will be yours next time I see you. But I'm guys, come on now. I'm in the Miami area. And I look good in gold, baby. I look good in gold. What do you? How you guys doing? How are your flights home?
Great. I'm sick as a dog. I'm down bad. Lost a ton of money on Saturday. But that only tells me that I'm due. And this weekend, one of the members of my perfect parlay just so happened to fight. So I'm looking to get back on the right course.
Alex, you and I were both in a very similar position. So to recap a little bit of last weekend, my wedding was on Friday. So I got to, by Saturday, I woke up on Saturday morning. We had a goodbye brunch for everybody. Got hammered there, had a great time. Went to the beach, sat out under the on the cabana a little bit. Actually, no, I didn't go. I went on Sunday, but either way, I got done the brunch, came back to the hotel, penthouse suite, beautiful, beautiful top floor room with a gorgeous view of the beach. And my wife was like, "Hey, me and some of my girls are gonna take the baby. We're gonna go out to dinner. Do you want to come?" I was like, "Absolutely fucking not. I'm exhausted. Y'all go." I had the PFL pay-per-view on one screen. I had UFC on another. I was just drinking by myself in the penthouse, enjoying the fights. As you guys all know, this is a UFC betting show, so I did not include my $500 loss on Renan Ferreira in my total. But I also didn't include all the money I won back on the Eagles, on the Colts, on the Lions, on the Yankees, on the Steelers. I won everything I lost back.
And you didn't include your winnings when Homeboy knocked out Tyson Fury or beat Tyson Fury. You didn't include any of your winnings in the past when you had
that. At least wasn't MMA, right? That at least wasn't MMA. So,
but you haven't when you've won on Bellator and stuff as well, or right. Contender Series, etc.
If we're talking contender series, that number's way higher. But I don't include a contender series because technically, it's not technically a UFC product. So this is just UFC strictly. I'm up 70 units. We started with $1,000 bankroll. Dan is down 160 units. Alex is down 50 units. I'm up, 10% of your bankroll is a unit. So
I'm down 1 unit, baby.
$10, I'm up 70 units, 70.2368 units. And it's better than a lot of people can say right now this time of the year, 5 months into our year. We started our season in May. So in just 5 months, I'm up 70 units and took a little bit of a hit last weekend. Didn't bet a lot because I knew I didn't think I was going to be able to bet in Florida. So I placed my bets before I left. I had my perfect parlay. I had a couple long parlays that lost in various. I tailed Dan on one because Alex kept saying how due Dan was. So I put his picks in there. The closest I came to a profitable night was this parlay I had, $20 to win a bunch, 20 to win 1,400. The ones that blew that were ones I shouldn't have had on there to begin with. Rebellis Dispenja blew that one off the bat, and then Daniel Pineda blew it later in the night. Everybody else I had on there won. I will say this though. I had a 2-leg parlay, which included the man who I came on here and I told you guys, even though I have completely disparaged his coach, Tyson Chartier, for many, many episodes. I've called that man negligent. I've said he should be probably tried.
I don't think Tyson Chartier was in his corner. I think it was Calvin Cater and
Faraz Zahabi, who I revere, George St. Pierre's head coach. So had I known that, I would have tripled down on it. But it was my estimation that Rob was going to do exactly what he did. Maybe drop around, do some wrestling, but win with his jab, win with his striking. Be able to out hustle, out volume Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips too young, too scrawny. Knew this was going to be a veteran last stand kind of effort, a gatekeeper kind of effort for Rob. Rob's strength of schedule over the years, even the fights he's lost have been to way better fighters than Kyler Phillips has ever seen. So, excuse me, get my wits about me. Many days of drinking in a row, or like 60 days of drinking in a row. The last 4 being real hard days of drinking. These boys, they're coming in off flights. They're coming in coughing. We all probably got a little bit of strep throat of some sorts, all kissing, hugging. So many people, But I was in the money for a $100 bet plus 756 odds. Rob Font and Michelle Pereira, two parlays. And the first 2.5 minutes of Michelle looked pretty good. Thought he was going to make it easy for me, but it was a long, drawn-out nightmare after that of me knowing that bet was going to lose. I did find out, and PSA for anybody in Florida, although FanDuel, other DraftKings, all the big ones are inaccessible in Florida, there is one. Just like in my
Prize Picks.
No. There might be more than one, but I'm having acid reflux right now. Red Bull was a bad choice off of all the beer. And
I thought that was a silver bullet.
Yeah, no, there are some beers in the fridge. I'm going to go grab a couple beers in a second to just kind of I'm hiccuping. So I would have come up big if Rob Bump made that happen, or if Michelle Pereira made that happen. He did not. So we took a little bit of an L, but like I said, bet on the Yankees, bet on the Eagles, bet on the Colts, bet on the Lions, bet on the Steelers. I had the Steelers plus 4.5 because that's all that. So there's one sports book here. It's called the Hard Rock Live. So when I'm at the bar one day and I see this bartender, I go, "Hey, what do you think about these football games?" He's like, "Oh, why? You betting on them?" I'm like, "Can't bet in Florida." He goes, "Yes, you can." He's like, he pulled the app up. He showed me, and I took the winnings from the Yankees, the winnings from the Eagles, Lions, the Colts, took them and put them on Steelers. And I thought the Steelers were going to win by 10 at least. They ended up winning by 15 plus 7. What's that? 22 points. So it would have been easy to take the Steelers minus 10, but they limited me. They only had as alternate spread options as high as Steelers minus 4.5. So I had Steelers by 5 at plus 200, 250 to win 750. That cashed. And I got a little bit of that rolling on the Ravens game tonight. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, won back my losses, so nothing to cry about in my beer. But for the sake of this show, I am down from last week. It is what it is. I can't change the past.
It is what it is, and I can't change the past. And
if you saw my Instagram story, which you definitely should go watch, I was not brought down by what's his name? Henan Ferreira. At the end of the day, that was corrupt. I didn't know that was taking place in Saudi Arabia. The corruption there was pretty high. I thought Francis was crying because he knew he hit him in the back of the head 3 fucking times to the spinal cord, to the, those are some dirty strikes. So, sure, he might have done what he was going to do anyway with legal strikes, but the 2 that put Ferreira out cold were here and here. No ear contact whatsoever. It might have even been three shots. But either way, there was no commission there to call it into question. There was no replay. There was nothing like that. So I lost it and brought a lot of people down with me. I was telling people all week, hey, Renan Ferreira. And, I thought if wrestling was going to take place, it would be on the Ferreira side. Ferreira is somebody who I looked into, and he keeps his he's like a Colby Covington where he fights in a southpaw stance, although he's right-handed, because he says that's how he wrestled. So like, okay, yeah, maybe the Brazilian wrestling isn't all that great, but we know Francis's wrestling is not all that great either, especially coming off back-to-back boxing matches. I can't imagine he's like out here refining his wrestling game post. And Cyril Gane, yeah, that's his one example of decent wrestling. That's not wrestling at all. You saw with the John Jones fight. So I was very much like, well, if some wrestling goes down, somebody gets taken down, it's going to be big-ass Brazilian Ferreira on top. Not the case. He gets taken down. He's on his back. He gets hammered out. I lose. But you only truly lose when you stop trying to win. I fought back. I bet. And we made up for some for that cough, that sneeze, that slip of on a banana peel. And I'm not deterred. UFC 308 is next weekend. A nice daytime card. It starts East Coast time at 10 a.m. Prelims are on at 10 a.m. Love waking up in the morning first thing, getting right into it. We're going to see Topuria versus Holloway. We're going to see Hamzat Chimaev versus Robert Whittaker. We're going to see a lot of really great fights this weekend, and I couldn't be more pumped to watch UFC 308. Guys, final thoughts. What was your kind of viewing experience on the night? I know, Alex, you were in the same boat as me. I saw your parlay. You had a parlay going for over $1,000 of profit if Pereira had won. Surprised you didn't hedge to at least keep your head above water.
I wasn't liquid. I told you. I have no money. I'm in the poorhouse.
I always tell you, overdraft your bank account, especially in a hedge situation.
It wasn't in the question. It wasn't a possibility. I wasn't liquid. There was no hedge possible.
It's always possible. Always possible.
It wasn't possible. It just wasn't possible at this time. I don't want to get into the logistics of it, okay? But it wasn't possible. I had to either cash out or put layouts on the table. So I left them on the table, and, plain and simple.
Well, I hope you behave a little bit more fiscally responsible, because last I checked in with you, not only are you not liquid enough to hedge on, for an amount of about $500, but you also weren't in a position to make purchases on your credit card. You were at the limit. So I hope you behave a little bit more financially responsible going into the future and take some time.
Those were kind of the logistics that I wasn't trying to necessarily delve into at the moment.
Multiply, I call it mathematics.
That's why I'm not liquid at the moment.
Well, money adds, then it multiplies. So first add, then we'll multiply. Dan, how about you? You were in the airport. Yeah, which fights did you get to see?
Well, I had a great plan going on. This was post-wedding, day after. Went to the brunch. Great time with everybody. And then that was my birthday, so my wife was like, let's go out. I was like, all right, cool. Let's find a sports bar. We'll watch some fights. We'll have plenty of time to watch some prelims. And then hop on the plane, get back home, and go from there. First fight of the night. I mean, this is just rookie betting 101. Every single parlay I had, and I didn't go too crazy. I lost $100, but every parlay I had Robelis Despagne, clear dog or pass situation. So I think we're like en route from one bar to the other. I'm looking at my phone, and I wasn't even like watching all that much. I saw he got like one takedown or something in the first round. I'm like, all right, he's gonna gas out. He's not gonna have those takedowns round 2 or 3. Despagne will piece them up, and then we'll get that easy win. And I just checked my phone casually as I'm at bar number 2, and I see Despagne lost. All my parlays are lost, and I didn't really feel like, creating the whole new Hard Rock Casino app, whatever it's called, and adding on to it more and whatever. At that point in time, I was like, I'm just happy. My best friend is married. It was a great wedding. I'm in sunny Florida for the time being. I'm at a bar. Everything's good. And, we had a safe flight back. So that was my viewing experience. I watched casually just for the fun of it while I was waiting on the plane. But, great weekend. A lot of fun. Could care less about the loss.
That's great. I'm glad you had fun. I had a great time too. Thank you both for coming. It was wonderful. No complaints on my end. Besides my killer hangovers and lack of sleep and chasing. I'm not going to say it's a joy to be a parent, but chasing a 2.5-year-old around a penthouse and a beach and all these other things. It'll take it out of you. So I am rode hard and put up wet, as they say. So, I mean, without further ado, I thought Rob Font performed heroically. He's the man. Other than that, shout out to Daniel Pineda.
Michelle Behera fucking. I didn't know they stacked piles of shit that high. Like how bad can you be? He had like a minute of cardio. He did one flurry and then he was done for the rest of the fight.
And I was saying after that first flurry, I said, I'm glad he's being patient here. I'm glad he's not gassing himself out. And then that's exactly what happened anyway. But, hats off to Fluffy Hernandez. This is the worst part about betting is when you have two fighters who you really like, both of them going up and against one another. I could have just tipped my hat to Fluffy and felt really good about his win had I not, stood to gain a lot of money off of his demise. So I've been a big Fluffy Hernandez fan for a while. I love Anthony Hernandez. I think he's a beast. It was cool to see him do what he did at the end of the day. So, I mean, and I'm not somebody who doesn't bet on Fluffy Hernandez. I'm just somebody who, with slight dog odds in the other direction, they look like they were a weight class between the two of them. Pereira just looked like he was going to be able to withstand what Hernandez threw at him. I didn't know Hernandez was going to have the wrestling to get him down like that, the cardio to keep him down like that. I knew he had the ground and pound. I knew he had the submissions, but I didn't know he had the gas to pull off the grappling for that prolonged period of time. And I didn't know Pereira didn't have the gas to at least have those opportunities in the beginnings of the rounds to do what he did at the beginning of the first round. So that's on me. It is what it is. We move on. UFC 308, big, huge fucking card, 13 fights, and it's in the desert. It's going to be this Saturday. Like I said, it starts at 10 a.m. Lot to talk about, so we'll get into it. I mean, there was one fight I really had my eye on that's not on the card anymore, Volkov versus Gane. Volkov was being disrespected like Rob Font, plus 200, plus 300 odds. I would have taken him. I would have fucking taken him against Gane. You know what I mean? That would have been a spot I was going to be definitely looking at. Other than that, there's some fights that I really didn't care about betting on that are off the card now. And there are some replacements for some people that probably are going to make these lines unbettable by the time we see them. But let's take a look at it. I'm
this
outside.
Has a lot of like, what the fuck is this type of fights on the card? Like,
But
what
we'll dig into it.
Who did this?
I always encourage you guys to watch our sister show, Stat Diggers, for some in-depth stat digging. But for us, for right now, we're coming off of 3 big weekends in a row. I was at 3 weddings in a row. My best friend got married at the beginning of October. Close acquaintance got married last weekend. And now this was my wedding weekend. And Dan was at 2 out of the 3, I have had a lot on my mind, but now I can promise you folks I'll be back in the Discord weekend after weekend. I will be staying home, locked and loaded until at least Thanksgiving. I'm not doing shit. Lose my number. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't invite me to anything. It's going to be a chill fall, a very chill fall, and a sober fall. We're going to put the bottle down and move into fall peacefully. Coffees, not pumpkin spice lattes, but some nice coffees, some cardigans, some fall leaves coming down, even though it's about.
Are there 2 games tonight?
Yeah.
There are.
What?
What's the other game?
Chargers versus the Cardinals.
Well, I got to get in on that. I already know who I'm taking. Who would you guys take in that?
Chargers.
All day, all night, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Harbaugh on the same night, dude. A Harbaugh.
I heard Barstool's Big Cat has a $10,000 bet on the Chargers to win the Super Bowl in a situation where he will 30-1 odds. So 10,000 for 300,000.
Well, they're definitely not going to win the Super Bowl.
But like he said, it's a great hedge out spot. It's a great position to hedge out. Well, that game doesn't start till 45 minutes from now. Kickoff just occurred with Ravens at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 30. So we'll get into that. We'll be watching it. I don't have a screen here, but I'm imagining what's happening. And yeah, we will. I wouldn't begrudge you guys if you were watching it while we're doing the show a little bit here. But let's just break down Topuria versus Holloway. Full card prelims. We'll go prelims first here. Warm up a little bit. Get our wits about us. I'm gonna grab one of those beers out of the fridge. Bruno Silva. Who was originally No, this is not one of those mismatched ones. So Bruno Silva, 23-11, taking on Ismail Nurdayev. Ismail Nurdayev, number 1 middleweight out of the Middle East. Moroccan guy, 28 years old, 7 years younger than Bruno Silva. I'm looking at the Tapology line. It's showing Nurdayev, even though he's making his debut and coming off of a couple finished losses within the last 2 years. His most recent win, a submission 10 months ago. He's 7 years younger at middleweight. Stacks up evenly in the height and reach department. Equal experience, 23-7 versus 23-11. And yes, although he has lost, a few times over the last 2 years, so has Mr. Bruno Silva, one of them being his most recent loss 6 months ago to Chris Weidman via 1-2 eye poke. Chris Weidman, an absolute, crumb bucket bum. I gotta go with the -125 on Tapology favorite Ismail Nurdayev. To me, that's a back up the Brinks truck type of situation. Forget Roberto Spange at -400 something. This is the bet. This is the spot if you're going to take a newcomer. Because Austin Lane, similar things you might talk shit about him for as you would Bruno Silva. I think Austin Lane is probably a much better athlete and much more well-rounded than Despanje, whereas Nurdayev at least seems like he will go in there and make a fight of this and have more to gain, less to lose, or more to gain, more to lose kind of thing. I don't know if you could have more to lose, but it seems like really Bruno Silva should retire no matter what the outcome of this fight is. I'm taking Nurdayev. That's my pick. Not going to overthink it. You're not catching me betting on Bruno Silva for the rest of his career. They could pretty much put him against anybody at middleweight, and I would bet against Bruno Silva. So that's my hot take. We're going to go grab a drink. Take us through what you guys think about this one. Dan, I'm sure you have some stats.
I'm taking Bruno Silva on this one. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Like Luke said, in this guy's last 3 fights, he was finished twice in the first round, once by punches, once by submission. And he hasn't turned a new leaf. He was actually in the UFC a long time ago. Lost to Sean Brady, lost to a guy who's not in the UFC anymore. I forget his name, but this guy's not good. Huh?
That Native American fellow. Chance Recountre or whatever.
Okay.
I'm looking at it now.
Khalil Roundtree, I think his name is, but close.
No, it's a different guy.
But no, I'm all jokes aside, I'm going Bruno Silva. I just think he's got more experience in better competition, and he's going to get this one done.
Yeah, so this one just landed on my desk. It must be last minute because I haven't seen it up until just right now. I'm not so much of a Bruno Silva hater. I don't love the guy, but I think that he's in most of his fights. I mean, he was in on the Pereira fight. He has lost 3 in a row. He's lost 5 out of 6. He lost to Gerald Mearshart. Okay, I'm going with the other guy. I'm going with Ismail Nurdayev. I take back everything I just said. Bruno Silva down bad on my report card here. Let's see if maybe this kid can have a second breath here. Coming back for his stint in the UFC, I think he'll probably be super motivated. And, he took Sean Brady to a decision. I definitely want to take a look at that tape, but he's still a young guy. And, Bruno Silva, one of his things is like he's this big, tall guy, got a lot of length. But if Luke's telling me that the newcomer, or I guess second round vet, is matching up in those departments as well, maybe I'll go with him. So whatever his name is.
I'm in Brooke's grandmother's sunroom. There are lizards, there are bugs. We are outside. There's no air conditioning. So as we get going, I anticipate I'm going to be getting hot and bothered, yelling, waking the neighbors. But we'll do this. We're doing this, baby, because I got a flight tomorrow night. Won't be able to do it for you guys tomorrow night. So next fight, Ibo Islan. Ibo Islan, Star Trek name, versus Aslan. Ibo Aslan. Aslan, the last Ottoman. 13-1.
Aslan,
record.
the name of the lion from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, no?
From C.S. Lewis, yes, the Chronicles of Narnia. two finishers, right? So you got a 28-year-old again. This one's going to be at light heavyweight, 28-year-old from Istanbul, Turkey, -125 favorite, coming off a KO of one. What's his name? The Pleasure Man, Anton Turkalj.
Touchdown,
that,
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans.
That's Wait, but Mike Evans. Yes, that is good. That is good. I had many times touchdown. That is good. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, Ibo Aslan, the last element. Mike Evans is such a beast. I fucking love. He might be one of my favorite players in the NFL. Paulo Renato Jr. He knocked him out of the Contender Series, and only one blemish, only one loss for Ibo Aslan. His one loss is by submission, and it was back in 2020, and it was actually against Turkalj. You'll remember that was a rematch they did in the UFC. Rafael Kirkwayer, he's a knockout guy. 8 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, 1 win by decision. He's also defeated. Interesting matchup. Not a lot of people that you can of note that he's beaten, right? I'm seeing 0-0, 2-3, 10-6, 17-9, 9-7, 0-1. Not really anybody good that he's fought. This will be his biggest step up in competition. His first fight in UFC. I'm going to go with the -125 favorite, back-to-back -125 favorites. First fight and second fight of the night, Ibo Aslan, last Ottoman. I think that he'll be able to not get submitted. And if somebody's going to get knocked out, I think it'll be Aslan doing the knocking out. His region, his area. I'm going with Ibo Aslan, keeping it simple.
I'm going with Circaria. I think this is going to be a Brazilian invasion. A Brazilian invasion of Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, wherever the hell they are. But I don't rate Aslan that high. You only get fight of the night in fights that are slobber knockers. That last fight with Turkalj was a slobber knocker, and Turkalj sucks. Aslan was kind of gassed until he got that knockout at the end. He was probably going to end up losing on the scorecards, if I remember correctly. I'm going with Circaria here. He was supposed to fight on the Contender Series twice. Both times his opponent pulled out. So now he's getting the nod up to the big leagues.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that little tidbit there that he just was able to bypass Contender Series. They're like, fuck it, you're good enough. I'm going to go with Circaria as well, just based on a fade on the Pleasure Man's opponent. I do remember that fight. It was sloppy as hell. I wouldn't say fluky because, knocked out the Pleasure Man. He probably had it coming, but I'll go with the newcomer here. One favorite, one dog. We're going with Circaria.
Okay, next fight. Henat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal, low-ranked welterweight, coming in here, making his UFC debut off the LFA. Prior to that, PFL guy, fought Sandabu Sai to a split decision a year ago. That was his last loss. 30-year-old Brazilian versus 33-year-old Russian. Henat Fakhretdinov has done nothing but impress. And we shouldn't really say it, right? The Kevin Lee fight was impressive. After that, Zaleski, majority decision draw, essentially, right? Or majority draw. Nicholas Dalby, split decision. So coming in with a lot to prove here. He's going to probably be a big favorite with his opponent taking the fight on short notice. I will pick Henat Fakhretdinov, but this would not be a fight I would be too keen on betting, especially if the line is outstretched. I actually probably would have faded Henat Fakhretdinov if his original fight was the one I was breaking down for you guys here, and that would have been Nursultan Ruziboev. I probably would have told you guys that Ruziboev, even though he lost the decision to Buckley, we've seen how good Buckley's been, and I think that Nursulboev probably could have made it a competitive fight. I think he trains at Marquez Mixed Martial Arts. That's that's right where Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer and some other guys are there. He's probably mixing up with a lot of guys. So I would have probably given Ruziboev a nod against Hinat. But that's not the fight that we're here to break down. It is a new one. And, we saw what short notice guys can do on a day's notice. What's the guy's name who beat Hadley? Drawing a blank on his name. It's like John Sandbagger or something like that. What was his name?
Oh,
It was like
Smotherman.
Yeah. Smotherman, Sandbagger. Yeah. That's why that was in my head. But I'm going to go with Hinat. But if it's anything north of minus 250, I'm not going to even give it a second look. I'm going to just say no bet, But I think Hinat will get it done.
This guy, Leal, he's got an impressive resume. He's been fighting a long time. He's actually younger than Rinat Fakhretdinov. All I can get in my memory of Rinat Fakhretdinov is a bad taste in my mouth. His last few fights were very lackluster, and if anybody saw him in that submission grappling event with Craig Jones, where he got tapped out three times, choked unconscious in one sitting, he just kept denying it, and then he kept going for takedowns even after the match. This guy, Rinat Fakhretdinov, is a bit of a numbnuts. He's going to lose this fight. He's going to find a way to lose this fight. His most impressive win is Kevin Lee, and the real question is where does he fit into all this? And he actually did come out and say Islam is not Habib, and there's a lot of holes in Islam's game. Kevin Lee, I love that you still pull from the same playbook, King. Dan, what do you think?
My take is pretty much perfectly aligned with Luke's. This is a dog or pass situation for me. The newcomer from what really popped out to me is a split against Sada Busai, which I believe is like a big-time grappler in the PFL. He's got
not a grappler, striker, Sada Busai. His brother fights in the UFC.
Is his brother a grappler then? One of the sides is a grappler.
No, they're kickboxers, dude.
No, I think you're wrong.
You're mistaken, but I'm going to look it up just to prove you wrong.
All right. Regardless, he clearly has some quality opponents, whether they're kickboxers or wrestlers. Clearly not a PFL fan. But, Fakhretdinov, I mean, he's, like Luke said, looked really good in the Kevin Lee fight, but clearly has some holes. I think that will be exposed in the future. I'm not going to have rookie mistakes here 2 weeks in a row with Rebellis Despaigne, and now I'm going to blow all my parlays with Rinat Fakhretdinov. And again, like Luke said, especially minus 250 and up. So, dog or pass, the official pick is Rinat.
What if I told you that he doesn't have a single submission victory and that a majority of his wins come by way of knockout, one of which being a spinning wheel kick? Would you then tell me that he is a grappler?
Ground and pound.
Ground and pound spinning wheel kick. I do like that. I do like that a lot. You're going to have to take it to 1FC for that one, pal. Who do we got next here? We got Farid Basharat or Farid Basharat versus Victor Hugo. Am I crazy, or I thought Victor Hugo was a whole different dude, whole different cat, whole different hombre.
I think you might be thinking of Walter Volker.
No, not Walter Volker. I swore there was a guy, Victor Hugo, tearing up the jiu-jitsu scene for a while, or a former UFC fighter named Victor Hugo.
Hugo Duarte.
It just has to be a common name. What do you think about this?
I thought he was a character in The Girl Next Door. The porn star director.
There is a Victor Hugo jiu-jitsu guy, different guy.
Well, okay, you might be right, you might be wrong. 12-0 Farid Basharat out of Extreme Couture. Definitely has done good work at 27. I think his brother is the one who disappointed a little bit, right?
I'll have to check you on that.
I'm going to go with Basharat, but you were saying that you don't want the same thing with Despaigne to happen to you with Hinat. This could be the parlay apple pie shitter, as they say on Dog or Pass. Victor Hugo, although his nickname is Striker, he's got 9 wins by submission. So he's only got 8 wins by knockout. The one thing I'm looking at here is Astra Fight Team. When Darren Till went down to Brazil, Astra fight teams where he went. Darren Till's a locker room cancer. If this guy even had a little bit of that in his soup, then he could be stained for life. So, what do you think?
I'll hop in. So, we got Basharat at minus 650. It's going to be even more juiced by the time the fight comes around. But I think it's justified in that his his only 3 UFC wins are very quality. You got Taylor Lapilus, Clayton Rodriguez, and Damon Blackshear. So just a combination of kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu with all 3 of those guys. So I think we're pretty safe here. It's still probably a dog or pass situation just based on the line, but I don't see Victor Hugo pull this off. This is the Basharat that really might take this thing all the way, but line's a little crazy.
Brazilian invasion. I'm going with Victor Hugo. Basharat, all he can do is grapple. This guy can strike, grapple. He's going to find his way into some positions that are advantageous for him, get Farid Basharat by surprise. And nobody's been a bigger, advocate for the Basharat brothers than myself. But Victor Hugo is going to win this one. Hasn't lost since 2014. 10 years.
I'm going with Basharat. It's by no means a parlay pillar. It's an official pick for the show. Ask me how he gets it done. I'd say by decision. So maybe you can find some value there. But for the most part, I'm going to stick with the undefeated guy until he proves me wrong. I like what they're doing at Extreme Couture. And, simple as that. What do you think? Did we all pick?
These Manning brothers, man, they really have a good time on this Manning cast. They're sitting here playing with the dog, throwing stuff at each other. These boys have some fun. Even with Coach Bill Belichick on there, they still have some fun.
Where's their $100 million? They're better than the Kelseys any day of the week.
They definitely make more than $100 million, dude. They're in every commercial. They're making that
Not
ESPN
podcast deal.
They don't need that. They're making that ESPN bread. You're crazy.
Yeah. Well, so is Jason the fat ass Kelsey. So, all right. Next we got another.
What the fuck is this fight of the night? What the fuck? Who the hell decided to make this a fight?
Well, I'll tell you what. Nobody wants none of Kennedy and Chuckway. They must be getting some calls from his training camp because Kennedy and Chuckway originally supposed to fight Justin Tafa. Tafa withdrawals. Probably tried to sneak his brother in there. But then he was supposed to fight Marcos Rogério de Lima. De Lima withdrawals. This is his 3rd opponent on this card. And it's Chris Barnett, who was supposed to fight Junior Tafa most recently and pulled out.
Like a week ago. Pulled out. What makes you better? What makes you better 3,000 miles away in 2 weeks? I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think he misses weight. That's my pick.
That he misses weight? I think that's minus 500.
Beast Boy missed weight in his last fight. He's going all the way to Abu Dhabi. He's going to be holding all that toxic plain water, as Nick Diaz said that one time, So, what do you think, Dan?
Oh, my bad. I'm going to rock with Kennedy and Njoku all the way. I think this is a size matchup. He's going to tower over Chris Barnett, who is as short and wide as a fire hydrant. I think Njoku, let me see his last couple of fights here, but what has he got? A couple losses. All right, so he lost to OSP and got knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. Might be Jacoby's first knockout in his career. Not looking great, but I can point to some,
I don't think he's fought at heavyweight either. And Chris Barnett's a bit of a grappler. This is at heavyweight. He's fighting Chris Beast Boy Barnett.
That's true. So what I would say to that is it will alleviate any stress that he has of going halfway across the world. Doesn't have to do a weight cut. I think this is good for him. He's just be leagues better than Chris Barnett, who's like a fun nice little story. I love the backflips and the spinning side kicks and whatever the hell else, but
the dancing
does the dance and doesn't have the technique or the fighting athleticism to take down Kennedy and Njoku here. So easy pick for me. A parlay pillar, if you will.
I'm
At
going with.
minus 550. There's no value there to be had.
Oh, I didn't know that was the line. I'm still gonna pick him, but that's a crazy.
I'm going with Kennedy. I'm not betting it. I'm not touching it. I might even throw a little money on Chris Barnett because I just think that he's going to be like so big and fat. He's just going to bowling ball into Kennedy and Chuckway's skinny little legs and find his way into a takedown and mother's milk him to death.
I always feel it's like funny when you got all these guys in Abu Dhabi, right? Like the Brazilians make one degree of sense. Brazil's big in Abu Dhabi. But the Russians make sense. The Afghanistan guy makes sense. The Turkish guy makes sense. But then you got, Chris Barnett out of Tampa, Florida, and the African Savage, Kennedy and Chuckway. It's like, what this is like a hey, everybody go and I don't know. I mean, is this fight during an hour of prayer, or is this fight during a time when they all? I'm being serious. This is a fight where they have to go take a prayer break. This is a fight where they have to go take a hookah break. I don't know what's going on. This is a bathroom break fight for the people in the audience. Probably, I don't think they have any skin in this game. Minus 550, untouchable. I will be picking Kennedy and Chuckway. I think he just teeps Barnett, stays on the outside, and eventually finds a finish. He's younger, he's longer, he's faster. But this fight probably won't happen. He will probably Barnett will probably miss weight, and I think this could be a sloppy decision. I'll take the over. Both guys gassing out, and Njoku not needing to cut weight. He's going to be like, oh, word, I don't need to do my road work. I don't need to be in shape, And but then again, he had 2 opponent changes. So what that tells me? He needs the money. He needs the win. He's coming there for win and show, not just for it's like when so many people pull out, it's like, all right, does he really want to burden himself going all the way to Abu Dhabi? Probably not. It's like a million different reasons to be like, hey, yeah, I'm good. Just rebook me some other time. But for whatever reason, he's saying on this card, tells me he needs this win. He needs this fight. Kennedy and Chuckway probably going to get the win in. It'll probably be by finish, but give me an over. Give me an over 1.5 on this one.
At least we can say, alhamdulillah, there's no ladies' fights on this card.
That's
one good thing about going over there.
That's the best thing about going over there. When that's the worst fight of the night, I mean, it's great that you can be like, okay, hey, we're in good shape. If Barnett versus Njoku, a complete sideshow attraction, is going to be the worst fight of the night. That's still going to be a great fight. All right, so Alex, you're taking. We're all taking in Njoku, but you're saying no bet, maybe a sprinkle on Barnett.
Yeah.
All right, Abbas Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. And anytime you guys see a trophy certified pick that's above minus 200, it's a stay away. Because long term, those will not be your profitable trophy certified picks. The profitable trophy certified picks are south of minus 180 range, minus 200 absolute top threshold of a trophy. And hey, Roberto Despagia, he was trophy certified last week, and he blew it. So, did Jocelyn Edwards win? I didn't watch that one.
Touchdown, Buccaneers, 14-0. Flag on the play though.
Flag on the play. Oh my god. Yep, I think the Baltimore Ravens really suck, dude. They really fucking suck.
Holding on the offense, calling it back, bringing it back, baby. Replay third down.
How close are they in the red zone?
Yeah.
We'll get 3 out of it at least. All right, so we got next fight: Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. Abus Magomedov, soft as baby shit, got knocked out by Sean Strickland when Sean Strickland was coming off a snowboarding adventure, or was that when he fought Imavov? Either way. Complete lamb to slaughter situation, trying to set up Sean Strickland. He knocks him out a year ago. Then he loses to Caio Barallo. Does get a win against Worley Alves, old as hell guy, 5 months ago. Only other UFC win is Dustin Solfitz. Don't know why he's the favorite here at 34 years old against an absolute fucking stud like Bruno Ferreira, who got knocked out by Nursultan Ruziboev, but gets himself into really crazy firefight situations. Every single fight he's been in the UFC from the Contender Series on has ended in knockout. 4 of those times, he's been the one to get the knockout. His only loss was to Ruziboev, a year and 3 months ago. Same exact time, maybe even the same exact card that Strickland knocked out Abbas. So I think Abbas is a bitch. I think he's soft. I'm taking the underdog shot here on Bruno the Hulk Ferreira. I like what I see out of him. Anybody who knocks out RoboCop, you got a friend in me. So, Bruno Ferreira for me, easy choice. And I don't care if I'm wrong. That'll be the bet, even if I am wrong.
Give me Bruno Fier as well.
I'm going with Abus. I think he's too technical. I think he's going to be in and out. Not a super high confidence pick because I think he has cardio issues. I think Bruno has cardio issues too, but I think he just kind of powers through and finds his way to advantageous positions for himself. But ultimately, I think Abus will get the job done. His 2 losses are incredibly high quality: Sean Strickland and Kyle Barallo within the first 3 fights of his UFC career. So I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce back here. I think he already had a bounce back win. So more so riding the momentum of that on home turf. Maybe not, his exact country, but he'll be getting some home cooking. And all he has to do is avoid that big power shot, and he should be all right. Obviously, that's very possible. So kind of a stay away situation. But the pick for me will be Abus.
All right. Next, we got Mateusz Rebecki versus Mickelbeck Orobai. Mickelbeck Orobai, face a lot akin to his face is akin to a one. Who's the guy that Josh Fremd fought off the Contender Series? Guy who's supposed to be in the finals against Trey Songor. This guy, Mikel Orobai, looks like Trey Songor. They both have face like flounders. Eyes way too close together, but the pick will be Orobai, and anything south of minus 300. I mean, listen, this should be a pick 'em fight. This should be lined like the first 2 fights, or like Abbas's fight with Bruno Ferreira. But yet you're getting Orobai as a minus 275 favorite. Dan would tell you, hey, that means that Vegas knows something. I'm going to say this fight should be lined way closer than that. But the one caveat I'll give is that Rebecki's coming off a KO 5 months ago. Although he is Polish, the Polish are, and I'm Polish, so I can say this, stupid. They lack self-preservation instincts. They have brick heads. A knockout 5 months ago is not going to deter this guy. He's not going to be gun shy. He's not going to be worried about, concussions down the road. He's only has 2 losses. I don't think he's war-torn or anything like that by any means. But I just think he hasn't faced the stiffest competition in the UFC. Not that Orobai has, but I respect Elvis Brenner. I respect Duros Medic. I'm taking Orobai here. Don't love the line. It's about the top echelon of what I would even consider throwing him on a parlay in. But give me Orobai here. He's 6 years younger, golden ratio there. He's got 3 inches of reach, and even, he's got 8 inches of reach, 4 inches of height. I don't see him getting knocked out by Rebecki. I see him being the more kind of technical guy, defending takedowns, outpointing him, keeping him on the outside, and winning the fight. Give me Mickelbeck Orobai by decision.
Orobai is a machine. He does not stop. He just keeps moving forward, gets you to the ground, holds you down easily, and just lays the smackdown on your ass. I'm going with Orobai all day long. This is a guy who, unfortunately for him, is going to win like 15 straight fights and won't get the title shot until, maybe fight number 16 or so. But, he's not a guy that's going to be super exciting on the mic, but he's going to rack up a ton of wins. He's going to be the guy that nobody wants to fight. Go with Orobai all day long.
Orobai's the man. I'm going with him as well. Triple P certified Orobai. Just think he's going to be too much everywhere for Mateusz Rebecki. I think Mateusz is pretty good, but Orobai is going to be an absolute problem for anybody in this division. So Orobai all the way.
All right, next we got a really interesting matchup. RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, former champion, against Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. Now, this is a fight where you see the matchup on paper and you go, these guys are in the same weight class. I mean, dos Anjos fought as low as 145 in his career. Now he's at 170. Was the 155-pound champ. Sorry, I don't think he ever fought at 145. Actually, I'm just getting confused because of the McGregor matchup. That was actually when McGregor was moving up in weight. So either way, big gap, 15 pounds between 155 and 170. And this is the reason why guys cut that weight and remain at lightweight, is because they don't want to have to fight a 5'10" guy, 5'11" Jeff Neal, 5'11", 75-inch reach, going to be 5 inches of reach advantage to RDA's 70, 3 inches of height. The last fight RDA had was against Gamrot. It was at 155. He's 6 years older. He's 40 years old. A lot to not like about Dos Anjos going into this. The one thing you can like about it, well, two things. The line plus 250 underdog. That's disrespect. That's disrespect to the Brazilian here. And then the other is just strength of schedule and perseverance through what I would perceive as much more difficult matchups throughout his career, bigger wins, bigger losses, all of it, right? So I will be, and this is one where I'm not parlaying it to the tits or anything like that. I'm not gonna live and die by this pick, but I'll be taking RDA. And my justification is just Jeff Neal is he's a quitter. He is mentally weak. He's always needing to get talked up by his corner. He's always looking, bummed out. Kind of gases. There's just a lot not to like about Jeff Neal, I think. And there's a lot to like about RDA coming in here. Sure, he's 40, but that's a Brazilian 40. I like it. I like RDA to just be the more technical fighter, cage control, advantageous takedowns, keeping away from the big power. Go back and watch RDA's 50-punch combo against Robbie Lawler. I mean, he's got the volume on his side. He's got speed on his side. He's got wrestling, grappling. He's got persistence. He's got a lot of good things on his side. And, Jeff Neal couldn't get it done against Ian Gary, who was talking mountains of shit on him. And then Ian Gary goes in there and, can't hang with another kind of older guy, an MVP. I think put it this way, 3 years, 5 months ago, sure it was a while ago, but Jeff Neal drops the decision to Neil Magny. How do you think RDA does against Neil Magny? I think a lot of people will be surprised in that. I think RDA fucks Neil Magny up. I think you'd be surprised. I think he fucks Neil Magny up.
Any of size.
So I'm going with RDA. I like the line. I like the strength of schedule. I like his back. But like I said, not living and dying by this. Just got a hunch.
I'm taking Jeff Neal, younger, faster, stronger. I think
Not
this
faster.
is a really
Not fast.
I think this is a terrible matchup all around. Hate this matchup. Don't want anything to do with this matchup. Touchdown Andrews. It is $7 to $10. I'm going with
It's $7
Jeff
to $10.
Neal.
Who just scored the Ravens?
I
Andrews?
just said Mark
Mark
Andrews.
I don't know who the fuck the Ravens lineup is. I know Zay Flowers. That's it.
I need Isaiah Lakely to get a touchdown, though.
Me too.
That would be great.
Fantasy.
That's just a little, parlay I got. I got a Baker Mayfield interception, a Rashad White touchdown, and Isaiah Lakely touchdown.
Baker's
$30, $8.50. But yeah, I almost said Neil Magny. Jeff Neal on this one.
I'm more closely aligned with Lukey on this one. Clear dog or pass situation. Jeff Neal, he always puts on a performance where it's like, oh yeah, I see it. I see, the potential there, but always kind of falls short a little bit. Yeah, obviously RDA, just the getting up in there in age, but finds a way to win, whether it's striking, grappling, pushing up against the fence, does what he has to do to win. So I like the odds here more than anything. Wouldn't be crazy surprised, obviously, if Jeff Neal won, just being younger, maybe faster, but the bigger guy for sure. But I like the veteran who's got that savvy versus the guy who kind of does fall short a little bit. Give me RDA plus 250.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be something I bet too much. If anything, you have a good opportunity to hedge out on RDA. I think RDA is a way better fighter. I just think he's old. That's all. Yeah. I think, yeah. And next up, we got Charbullet versus Armin Petrosian. I think Charbullet sucks. I think he's absolutely horrible. He lost in the third round to Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva's horrible. I'm going to go with Armin Petrosian here. And I'm just going to keep fading the Charbullet until that one eye gets him in trouble.
So one thing I don't like about Charbullet is his little video with Nina Drama recently. That was just silly goose stuff. What I don't like about Petrosian, he got submitted by fucking old man Rodolfo Vieira.
He
also
assaulted that guy for kissing his girlfriend. We don't like that either.
Yeah, but when in Rome. So listen, Rodolfo Vieira, yes, maybe the Brazilians poisoned the Armenian the first time they were scheduled to fight. They had to rematch him. Maybe he was a little bit poisoned again. Maybe they were like, hey, you think we can't poison you in Vegas, you fucking idiot? We'll get there. We'll get there too. I don't know. But Vieira, I wouldn't bet him. I wouldn't take him in any bet against anybody at this stage in his career. He's too old. 33-year-old guy getting beat by a 40-plus-year-old guy like that, getting finished by him 8 months ago. Don't like to see that. I get why he is the underdog. I think you're getting generous odds here on Charbullet in this case. I don't think Petrosian has the grappling threat to make this interesting. I think Charbullet is going to throw a shitload of kicks, shitload of volume. He's got the judges and the refs and the crowd on his side in this area. So to me, I think, yes, I'm down to fade Chara when the time comes. This just isn't it. This isn't the time. So give me Charbullet, and I think south of minus 200, we're looking at some pretty generous odds on Charbullet. That's what I would consider almost a parlay pillar. I did like Petrosian, but not against not in his last performance, and that soured me a little bit to him. So give me Charbullet. The time will come, but not this time. Volume kicks, home field advantage, things of that nature lead me on the bullet.
Yep, I'm with Lukey once again. I like the bullet here as well. I see the holes. I see the downfall coming, but Armin Petrosian, more of like a jab guy. He's going to throw a good amount of volume, but it's not going to be anything damaging. So I think Charbullet will have the bigger moments, and then we'll have the home cooking baked into that. Is it baking or cooking? I don't know. But we're going to go with Charbullet here. I'm going to give it a parlay pillar status. Armin Petrosian's not getting this done.
No. Petrosian's, he's too much of a generalist, in my opinion. And a generalist could do well, but I think that you're going to see a better and better and better Charbullet every time he comes out there. Yeah, I got to run to the restroom real quick, so take this next one super slow. I think there's a lot to dig into. Alexander Rakic versus Magomed Ankalaev. I'll be right back, guys. 2 shakes of the lamb.
Magomed Ankalaev, Alexander Rakic. I think this goes to majority draw. I think that Ankalaev is not as good as people say he is. He doesn't really know how to wrestle that well. Just because he has the name, he's got the look, he's got the beard, he fancies himself a bit more of a karate man than a wrestler. And Rakic, he can drag anybody to the ground. I think he drags Ankalaev to the ground and puts an overwhelming pace on him. Let us not forget, Rakic was winning that fight against Yuri Prohashka before he got knocked out in the second or third round. I forget which one it was. He was winning that fight the entire time. And he just slipped on a bit of a banana peel there. I think Rakic wins a decision, or this goes to majority draw. And Ankalaev is going to find another way to lose a title shot again, regardless of the outcome of this fight.
I hear what you're saying. It's hard for me to pull the trigger, though, on Rakic. I don't know why. I guess because Ankalaev could potentially take him down.
No, Rakic is going to be the one taking people down. Did you not listen at all? Magomed Ankalaev is not a wrestler. He doesn't wrestle. When's the last? He doesn't wrestle, Dan. Rakic is a strictly grappler. He's not a striker whatsoever, Rakic. You think Ankalaev is going to be the one initiating the grappling here?
Yeah.
I side bet you $20 that Rakic goes for the first takedown.
All right, so Ankalaev averages more takedowns per 15 minutes. Let me see. He took down Johnny Walker. He took down Jan Blachowicz twice. He took down Thiago Santos. He took down Ozdemir. He took down Krylov 3 times.
What is the one thing about all those guys? Those are strictly strikers.
No, not
every
Jan.
single one of those guys.
Not Jan.
Jan's mostly a striker. He just turned into a grappler to fight Izzy and Alex Vieira.
Dude,
That's the only
Rakic
reason he turned into a grappler. He's an
not a grappler.
opportunist. These Ankalaev and Jan are the same style of fighter. They are opportunists. Whatever the easiest path to victory is, they're going to take that.
All right, well, I'll just say this. Rakic got taken down by fucking Yuri Prohaska. So if Yuri's taking him down, I think that Ankalaev can have some success. I don't know. Is that crazy to say? Now we'd have to go back to the tape. Maybe, he was beating the shit out of him, and then
I bet that the fact of the matter was Yuri Prohaska hit him over the head and then went for a takedown and then ground and pounded the shit out of him to finish him.
We'll have to go back to the tape. Obviously, he's not going for like a
hit the tape then. Hit the damn tape.
Freestyle, but I don't know. I see what you're saying. Like, I'm not crazy about Ankalaev here, especially at the price tag. And Rakic seems to be a guy that spoils a lot of parties, at least the ones that I've been attending. I might go. No, I can't go with it. I'm going with Ankalaev, but I'm not going to be playing him. Can't do it.
Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I guess we'll sit here and wait while Luke shakes his lamb leg. I don't know. I guess we could break down the next fight, Murphy versus Ige. I'm going to go Murphy decision. Listen, boys, it's almost 9 o'clock. I got to go to bed. I'm sick as a dog. I'm going to go through this next fight before Luke gets back. Murphy versus Ige. I'm going Murphy decision. He's more well-rounded. He's got less time to travel. I think the line is going to be a little bit closer than it ought to be because everybody's in love with Ige's last performance. But let's not forget that, Diego Lopes was also in on like an hour notice against Dan Ige. Dan Ige kind of has like the benefit there. He didn't get his opponent changed 3 times in 24 hours. So I'm going with
I know
Murphy
you guys didn't talk about everything.
So it's your turn to talk about the rest.
We broke it down.
We gotta leave some meat on the bone for you. You're still going to talk about it for 10 minutes regardless of if we covered everything or not. So I gotta leave some meat on it for you.
Ankalaev not active enough. You talk about that?
I didn't say I covered everything. I was just hitting I wasn't going to sit here and have dead air for 5 minutes while we're waiting for you to shake your lamb's leg.
Who'd you guys pick?
I picked Rakic. Dan picked Ankalaev. Mike Evans is
taking Rakic as well.
It's the smart.
I already got my touchdown. We're good. I'm taking Rakic as well. I mean, at the end of the day, Rakic, I liked how he looked in the fight against Yuri. He was really winning a lot of moments in that fight.
Except we're going to take it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. This could be my dumbest pick of the night. Ankalaev could really make this look easy. It's more of a line pick. It's more of a we don't know what we don't know pick. This is going to be a learning experience for me. I'm going to learn a lot watching this fight. About both guys.
Is that a Wawa
About both
Cup?
guys. I'm going to learn about it. This is a Wawa Cup, yeah. I'm having acid reflux right now. But listen, I'm going with Rakic. I love the juicy odds. I think he's dangerous. And I think we don't know what we don't know about a lot of these guys. And Ankalaev, he's getting jerked around a lot. I think Rakic could put it on him and knock him out. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ankalaev makes this look really easy. Takedowns, frustrates him, swarms him, ground and pound, decision, submission, or ground and pound KO are ways I could see him winning it. Pretty much any situation except a striking exchange, I see Ankalaev as paths to victory. But I don't know what I don't know. And I think that Yuri is like a super dangerous striker. And if Rakic was having that kind of success, the line doesn't make sense. When the line doesn't make sense, I give it a look. I got a bit of a feeling on this one, a feeling that we're gonna see Pereira's dirty work get taken care of for him here. The dirty work that nobody wants to see, the boring fight that would be Pereira Ankalaev gets taken care of here by Rakic. So I'm going Rakic.
It's like when John Fitch got fed to the gauntlet and then just would like lose a number one contenders fight and then not get to fight GSP.
You know, what people don't talk about enough is the draw he had with BJ Penn.
John
People
Fitch
don't talk about
was
that enough.
the man. John Fitch was the man.
No. The draw, BJ was the man. I'm saying that was BJ getting fed to the worst possible matchup. You know, a guy who could suck him to the mat in theory at that point in BJ's career. You know, a similar way as GSP, you know, was able to do. BJ, some of the best takedown defense in the fucking game. I think actually the only person who got, well, the first person to get him down was Frankie Edgar. Got him down for a second and he popped up. And then, but yeah, that was later in BJ's career, an unmotivating opponent for BJ, but it just showed what kind of a fucking dog BJ was. He took that fight to a fucking draw. Amazing. I love BJ Penn. BJ Penn is honestly my favorite fighter. That's
BJ Penn, true warrior, true Hawaiian warrior.
True Hawaiian warrior. And the fact that Max Holloway doesn't talk a lot about BJ Penn, it shows you how divisive. Hawaii can be, you know. Max Holloway, you never hear Max or BJ talk about one another, give each other respect, you know.
They're different islands, man.
I know,
aren't they?
Hawaii is a lot like the continent of Africa, you know, a lot of warring between the regions, I would say. BJ doesn't get a lot of love in Hawaii because, you know, I think his rich family. But I think BJ Penn is a true Hawaiian, an amazing champion, and a true fighter. And Jake Paul may or may not be wearing a mask.
Please don't ask me any dumb questions.
So
Very
take your
true.
mask off, Jake. Take the mask off. We know who you really are.
Oh, interception.
You're Jim
interception, Baker Mayfield in the end zone. That's one leg of the parlay done, boys. Baker Mayfield interception to Hawaiian punch Marlon Humphreys. Let's go.
Wow, on the Baltimore 3.
Uh-huh. And you know, I would have taken punching it in with Rashad White, but throwing it there, 2nd and 3 on the goal line, you know, that's not smart. You should have ran that in with Rashad White. Baker's going to throw an interception later anyway.
Yeah, hopefully this will slow him down a bit because he's getting a little too close to my under 257 bet.
Right now, Baker Mayfield is the leading touchdown passer in the NFL. 16 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions.
Well, maybe he'll start handing it off a little bit. Taper off because he's at 133 out of 257, and it's you know, he's pacing towards that 260 mark. So, Lamar
Jackson doesn't know how to throw the pigskin. That's his problem.
At this point, if I can get right, this is what I need: Ravens to win by 6. By 7. Ravens to win by 7. Under 50. Jackson needs to come up with about 180 more yards, and Baker Mayfield needs to slow down. That's a $25 bet for $1,300.
Lamar Jackson,
So,
20-1 against NFC teams. I think you're in the clear. He's got this. Lamar Jackson.
I know, but he's not playing really well right now.
He's fine. He's got the ball. They're down by 3 in the second quarter.
The thing is, Luke, you picked the under on the guy who only knows how to throw the ball, and you picked the over on the guy who doesn't know how to throw the ball.
He does know how to throw the ball. You're crazy.
But
he can't throw the pigskin.
But I only need 230 out of Lamar. Baker needs 260, 258. But they're both. I mean, I need Baker to slow down, Lamar to speed it up.
Can somebody tell me the difference between Rob Font and Dan Ige? Because I swore they were the same person. And once I saw Dan Ige was fighting this weekend, I was like, wait a minute. Didn't he just have a pretty sensational win? This is a remarkable turnaround.
They look alike, but here's the thing. Rob Font, longer, more of a boxer. Ige, more well-rounded, better grappling, stocky, less of a jab. Rob Font, Dan Ige, great with the hooks. Rob Font, great with the jab.
Kyler Murray knows Call of Duty's coming out this weekend. He threw a pick.
That's good. I got some action on the
and you know he's got like early access to that shit. He's already playing Call of Duty.
Alrighty.
All right.
So
Who do you got, Luke? Dan Ige or Bryce Mitchell? I mean, Lerone Murphy.
Lerone Murphy, 14-0. Dan Ige, 18-8. I got Lerone Murphy. Minus 200 is generous. Dan Ige, Super Bowl hangover. Honestly, a fight that I don't think it was as close as people want to say it was. More of grading on a curve for Dan Ige. He lost to Bryce Mitchell. His wins knocked out Damon Jackson, knocked out Andre Fili. Not that impressive to me. Lerone Murphy, what he did against Josh Quiblau, impressive. What he did against Edson Barbosa, impressive. Yeah, he's a decision machine, but I think he goes in there and decision machines Dan Ige. He gets a decision on Dan Ige. So I'm anticipating Lerone Murphy by decision. Dan Ige getting his 9th loss. Lerone Murphy remaining undefeated. Minus 200 is generous. I like it. I'm taking it. Parlay pillar. Lerone Murphy, Shair Magomedov, 2. Probably get you plus money taking both of them. So
Ravens on the 10-yard line.
Zay Flowers. Let's go. We need a Zay Flowers touchdown.
I'm going to hop in here and go a little unconventional. I'm going with Dan Ige. The reason why, I feel like Lerone Murphy, he is like a technical specialist. He's a guy who's probably better suited as the hammer than the nail. He's a guy who likes to get into these technical battles. Like your Edson Barboza, like you kick, I kick, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't like wading into the chaos. Once it gets a little bit chaotic, like that Gabriel Santos fight, that we're all big on Gabriel Santos based on that performance against Lerone Murphy. Turns out he's not that good. He's just a guy that gets a little crazy, and Lerone Murphy couldn't really handle it. I feel like Dan Ige, the Hawaiian spirit, the warrior in him, he's going to go out there and, yeah, he might get pieced up a little bit because he's probably not as technically sound, probably not as overall having as sharp of a game as Murphy, but I think he's got a little bit more dog in him. I think that he'll find his moments, especially in rounds 2 and 3, and he'll pull this one out. This one's kind of like it's a wild hair at my ass for sure, but I'm feeling this. I feel like this is going to be the apple pie shitter for a lot of people. I'm going with Dan Ige.
This is a typical fight where Dan will be wrong. Here's what I'll say. Lerone Murphy was originally supposed to fight Nathaniel Wood that night that Gabriel Santos stepped on very short notice. We saw in the Hadley fight. You could be a huge favorite going into a fight, remain a huge favorite as somebody steps in on short notice, but a change in opponent, if the opponent is game, hungry, and ready, is hard for both guys. You know what I mean? So it's the exact same thing that happened to Murphy in the Santos situation is what happened to Lopez in the Ige situation kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, on paper, it's easier. You got a guy who didn't even know who was fighting, but the fighting is, for some guys, could be given a year to prepare. It'll only make them show up worse. Thinking about it every day, having to sleep with that every day, overtraining, undertraining, back and forth, injuries and training. Then you got guys who just are like Dan Ige, a Hawaiian, like Santos, scrappy Brazilian. Guys who have it here, stay ready, and can come in, and they can almost kind of come in better than they would have if they had more time. So I forgive him for that one. I'm going Lerone the Miracle. Glad I was able to pull that up. That's an important stat to consider.
Touchdown just got called back for the Ravens. But it wasn't to your guy. Gives you another
penalties.
Chance. Nope, no offsetting penalties. 2nd and goal, baby. Next up, we got Rupper Hobbit Whitaker. Hobbit the Heaper Whitaker versus Hamzat Chimaev Boers. I'm going to take Whitaker 2nd round knockout. Chimaev gasses. He's a gas machine. This is an actual 185er. This isn't a, no need Kamaru Usman 170 pounder. Robert Whitaker has fought way tougher guys than Hamzat Chimaev, who can't even make it to work because of the cold. I'm here. I'm sick as a dog. I'm here. I'm still doing my damn job.
Did you go to your real job today, though?
Yeah, of course.
That's just because you work remote.
Well, don't dox me. Robert Whitaker is going to get a 2nd round finish in this fight. He's durable, has great cardio, great takedown defense, much more experience, much more well-rounded, And Chimaev is going to gas in the first 2.5 minutes against Robert Whittaker when it doesn't come as easy as it does against 170-pounders. And Jonathan Phillips, or whatever that guy's name was.
Between the Red Bull, the 12-ounce Wawa, and the Oktoberfest, I'm rid of my hiccups. I took a poop. Right now, I feel like I wanted to feel when I started the podcast, which sucks because now we're finishing and I'm going to be like, all right. But I'm sitting here at grandma's house, got my wife watching Analyze This, Analyze That, double feature combo. And I'm going to be out here in the fucking sunrooms trying to stream the Chargers game on my laptop. But either way, happy to be here with you boys. We'll get this thing wrapped up. You guys can get in there, see the second half of the Ravens game, see the Chargers game. Here's my pick. It's Hamza Chimaev. It's Hamza Chimaev first round knockout. Clear as day to me. But, I've been wrong before thinking things were clear. Don't love the odds on Hamzat at minus 225. I'll be taking him by finish. But then again, that's also bit me in the ass. Hamzat Chimaev by Burns, getting him done in the finish sense comes to mind. So
Gilbert Burns, another 170-pounder. That Hamzat just struggled.
When Rob's coming in, I think when Rob comes in overly confident, he performs bad. I think he's going to be more confident than usual in a fight like this, a fight that Hamzat did pull out of. But I just don't care. I think Hamzat's going to come in there and get it done. And I think he's going to finish Robert Whittaker by knockout.
I think Robert Whittaker is going to get it done. I don't think he gets taken down. I think he puts the pressure on him. I think he gets Hamzat to gas out. And I think he puts a hurting on him. I'm thinking, man, that Usman fight was – I can't get past that. You got just a cooked, shot Usman up a weight class.
Short notice.
10 days notice.
Yeah, short notice. And
in my opinion, that was a draw. I think 10-8 Hamzat round 1, second 2 to Usman. I think that was a draw.
Yeah. Usman taking the last 2 rounds is crazy.
Usman the second best welterweight of all time. Like, he's good.
Yeah, but he's not the same anymore. He lost to Leon Edwards, who got fucking destroyed by Bilal Muhammad. So, props to Usman from the Covington days, but those were days long ago. So I think Whittaker's still got a good 2 years left in him, and then we'll be talking about him like we're talking about Usman now. But as of October 25th, 2024, I think Whittaker's got it, and he's going to be putting a hurting on Hamzat Chimaev and upset the hometown faithful like he did a couple months ago.
All right. 2 for Whittaker, 1 for Chimaev. We will see. That brings us to our main event, everybody. The fight that I'm
2 for Whittaker, 1 for Chimaev, Luke.
That's what I meant to say. 2 for Whittaker, 1 for Chimaev. And that will bring us to the main event, a fight I'm very excited to see, possibly the fight of the year, in my opinion. This fight, Ilia Topuria is becoming, if not already, my favorite fighter in the UFC, my favorite active fighter, certainly my favorite active champion right now. He's everything you want. I mean, he's got the wrestling, he's got the grit, the heart, the determination. He wants to take his division, his status, the title that is the UFC title, the moniker that is to be a UFC athlete. He wants to take that to a higher level. If you've seen some of the embedded already or the pre-fight stuff, you see his house in Spain. He's got the cryogenic chamber. He's got the fucking altitude pressure chamber. He's got all the things. He's investing in himself. He's got the right people around him, the right mindset. And then to top it all off, he's just a cool-ass dude. You see the video of him cutting weight with Merab. He's like, him and Merab are talking, and they're sweating it out. And he's like, this is nothing. Merab's like, bro, for us Georgians, this is nothing. Like, we have had so many harder days than this. And Ilya's like, my brother, this is easy. This is an easy day. We've had way harder days than this. He's like, this gives us a chance to fight for our dreams, brother. He's like, we are good. That's the mentality, right? I don't care what people think about Max's mentality. Ilya's is stronger. I love that Ilya is bullying him. I love that Ilya is talking shit. He's not treating him with the reverence, the respect that everybody has to fucking have. Yeah, crybaby Justin Gaethje, fucking dabaholic over here coming in saying, oh, I feel bad. I don't want to hurt Max. Like, I I think this fight could go bad for him. How'd that end up for you, Justin? You got fucking. Thank God Max avenged Tony Ferguson in that regard. But, the reality is, I think Max has 7 losses. He's got 34 fights, 33 fights. This will be his 34th. At the end of the day, it's like he has, yes, landed, I think, the most significant strikes and has the most octagon time in UFC history. He has also taken the most amount of significant head strikes in the UFC octagon. I don't think Max has the self-preservation instincts to allow that to affect him too much. But at the end of the day, nobody is a god. Everybody in there is a man. And Topuria, although people will cite, his Jai Herbert fight and some of these fights along the way where he's like gotten dropped or gotten rocked or whatever it might be, it's like, guys, you have to calibrate it, right? You have to look at it like, okay, Topuria at that time was fighting for his name, fighting for his ticket to be a contender. He had to put on performances that almost were like Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series style performances. He had to put himself in a bit of a more risky situation in order to capitalize on some of the momentum that would come from a big highlight reel finish. Like, he was still building himself. So to me, I look at those as like, yeah, he was willing to scrap it out and not play it safe and get in there and still come out on top and get amazing highlight reel finishes against guys in fight of the night type of fights. So 15-0, Ilia Topuria, he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. He, if you've seen his trading videos, I don't know what the fuck Max is talking about his boxing IQ. The guy.
Who's Joe? Who's Joe?
Yeah. The guy is sick on the pads. He's sick. He's not by no means a mitt warrior. He's tough as fucking nails. His brother is arguably as good as him, and he's going to be in the UFC soon. I love Topuria. I love his mentality. I like that he told Max, you have 7 losses. I have no doubt you will rebound and climb your way back up the rankings after yet another loss. I love the back and forth, the banter. Give me Ilia Topuria and give me Ilia Topuria by knockout. Ilia Topuria to finish Max Holloway. Ilia Topuria under 2.5 rounds. Ilia Topuria KO round 2, maybe KO round 1. Max's chin is too small. His body is too lanky. Ilia can take every single... The reason that he knew he was going to knock out Volkanovski is because he wasn't afraid of what was coming his way. He is even less afraid of what Max is putting out his way. Max might have the volume, but Ilia will eat everything Max throws to get inside, and he will get Max out of his comfort zone. He will get Max into a state of, I don't care what Max says about, this isn't for the dumbest motherfucker championship. Of course he wants me to go in there and slug it out with him from the first 10 seconds. That's because that's where the fight is, at an advantage for him. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter when he's coming for your fucking head, coming for your dome, and he's going to crack that coconut. He's going to knock Max Holloway out. All of the casual fans, all of the protect this man at all costs style fans are going to be in for the worst night of their life when Robert Whittaker gets slept and Max Holloway gets slept. Their 2 favorite fucking fighters are going to be taken out hard. This is a destiny fight. This is a karma fight. This is a fight for me, really. This is a black magic style fight card.
Maybe a rob the bank style fight.
You saw how that worked. Paid in blood, paid in full. Kevin Holland quit on his stool. So I'm taking Ilia. I'm taking Ilia by knockout. Just wish that the money line was a little bit better too. So I would be, but yeah, Ilia Topuria is my pick. Ilia Topuria to shock the world, knock Max Holloway out inside 3 rounds. I just hope Mark Goddard's the ref. This will stop it with Max still on his feet.
All right. Well, I'm going with Max Holloway TKO. Ilia Topuria struggles with longer opponents. Max Holloway is going to be a little taller, a little longer. Luke said people are going to talk about the Black Country Banger fight. And of course I am, because Ilia Topuria got almost knocked the fuck out against the Black Country Banger, Jai Herbert. And there's something to be said there about that. Way lower level of opponent. Not a champion caliber guy.
That did nothing for you?
I heard what you said, but I don't care. In the slightest.
You're blinded. You're blinded by your love I am not. I have love for Max too, but I see the future, and it's written.
I'm not blinded by my love. You picked Justin Gaethje in that fight.
No, I didn't. Yeah,
Maybe
I did.
you did.
Wait, no, I didn't. I picked him way before when it was first announced. As it got closer, I switched. And on this show, I said Max Holloway will beat Justin Gaethje's ass bad.
Anywho, Max is going to be a little too slick to get caught by Ilia Topuria. You know, these stats about hits, getting hit, giving hits, they're all wrong. Nate Diaz doesn't get hit nearly as much as they say. A lot of these strikes roll off, don't even really touch him, not significant whatsoever. But when you give him that roll off, it kind of looks like you get hit a little bit. So I think Max is a lot slicker than people give him credit for. I don't think he really does get hit that much. I don't think he will get hit that much against Ilia. I think he's going to finish Ilia. Probably like third round or so. We haven't really seen Ilia go too late into fights too often, but he has done it. He's durable enough to have the gas tank for it. I just think Max's pace is a little too overwhelming. His distance is going to be a little bit too much, and his strikes are going to be a little too slick.
Topuria is going to get it done. Max Holloway is super overrated. Was probably never good. Just beating up guys in the UFC who don't know anything about striking, don't know anything about boxing. We're now in the modern era where guys actually know what they're doing. I'm being a little facetious, of course. I'm, trying to just rub salt into Alex's wound. I know he loves Max Holloway, as do I. But ultimately, I agree with Luke. I think we just got a little too much firepower here from Topuria, a little too much youth. Super fast hands, and fast hands, by the way, that actually translate into power. He's not putting out jabs, although he does that as well, but he's going to be throwing some fucking heaters with that right hand. And, there's a little bit of a grappling upside. I don't think he's going to necessarily use it, but maybe, if he gets stunned, he could use it to recover a little bit and then get back to hunting Max. So, also on top of it, I like what Luke is saying about destiny being written. It certainly seems that way. It seems like the UFC is saying, okay, perfect. We got Max Holloway coming off of a fight that really doesn't mean anything with Justin Gaethje, but nonetheless getting all of this adulation and eyeballs on him. We can now use Max as a nice little stepping stone for Topuria and really propel him to a McGregor or maybe just for now a O'Malley-like status, which is where we want him to be. So I feel like this is the fight for Topuria, man. A little too long in the tooth for Max Holloway. Congrats on an amazing career, but as Luke said as well, too much head damage coming in against the guy who really makes his living off of knocking people's blocks off. So give me Ilia Topuria.
And I just showed you 2,086 head strikes absorbed. And I think that's a pre-Gaethje stat too. But I'll tell you this. If that stat is true to this day, 2,086, I predict it won't even need to get above 2,100 for Ilia to get a win. I think Ilia can get this done in less than 20 fucking strikes. I think if he lands 20 strikes to Max Holloway's chin, temple, and head, Max is going to sleep.
Especially if Max takes the bait and does
what choice
the center thing.
What's he going to do? Ilia Topuria comes to the center of the ring, points down. Where's Max Holloway going to go? Ilia Topuria then marches him back with his back against the cage. I see Max. And listen, if Max threw knees up the middle, maybe. That's why Sugar Sean, more dangerous fight for Ilia. Sugar Sean at least throws dynamic spins, knees up the middle, kicks, head kicks, taller. Max isn't that much taller than Topuria. He's 4 inches taller. Max has a very low ape index. His reach is the exact same as Topuria's. So while it will appear Max is taller, all that really means in this scenario is less traps, less of a neck, less of an ass, more weight suck, thinner chin, chicken jaw, and same exact punching range without the threat of kicks or takedowns. So Topuria only needs to worry about a right hand and a left hand, and Max is not throwing anything with any steam on them. For the most part. I mean, he had to beat Justin Gaethje to a pulp for most of that fight before he was able to, and he broke Justin Gaethje's nose. Remember, Justin Gaethje, already a guy who has trouble breathing out of his nose. Max put that thing to the fucking side of his face, and at the end of round 1, maybe end of round 2, but I'm pretty sure he fucked Justin Gaethje up and compromised Gaethje very early in that fight, and then talked dumbass Justin Gaethje into a bad situation. And Max was like, yeah, he's stupid. You don't point to the octagon in the center at the beginning. You do that when you're up and when you're already winning to give the other guy a chance. You weren't doing that to give the other guy a chance. You were doing that when you were comfortable and already felt that you were in the flow state and already felt you were kind of in the matrix. Now, what's that stat, right? 33, is it 33 or 35? I think it's 35-year-olds don't win. And also, what's the stat like when you get a rematch against the younger fighter loses more dominant. So yeah, it's not a exact rematch, but it's a rematch for the belt that Max has fought for more times than you can count on one hand. And he did to Aldo, rematched Aldo, younger fighter won and more dominantly. But then Volk did that to Max. I don't think Volk's younger, but he was younger at the time. He wasn't 35 at the time. And he beat him more dominantly in the third fight than he did the first two. Now Max is going back down in weight. Your body does not like it when you move around in weight this much. When you're 145, 155, back down to 145. Max is going to face significant weight cutting challenges. He is going to have a long flight. He is going to.
Why do you keep bringing up the 35 years old stat? He's not 35 years old.
He's 33, and he's
32.
He's 5 years older.
He's 32 years old.
And 10 months. 32 and 10 months. Plus the 9.
33, divine Christ. Jesus Christ. It was Jesus Christ. That means he's going to win.
Plus, you got 12 months before you're 1. So really, he's 33 in 10 months. And then you got the 9 in the womb. That brings him up to 34.7. So, whereas Ilya is still under 30 with all that. So, you forget about the 9 in the womb, and you forget about the 12 before you turn 1. Don't you? I'm so good at bullshit, and I impress myself sometimes. But no, it's Khamzat by KO. It's Ilya by KO. That's the parlay. That's what I'll be taking. That's what I'll be making my bread and butter off of this weekend. And Khamzat, it's owed to me. He didn't get Burns out of there. He didn't get Usman out of there. That'll all come back. You just got to stay the course. When you know something, you stay the course. Ilya with Max, you stay the course here, and we're going to get what we need. Alex, I feel bad for you this weekend, but don't worry. Maybe you'll be the one coming into the show that following Monday very happy. But I think you should reconsider.
Hosh posh.
24-karat magic in the air. I'm the golden boy, baby. I'm the goose that lays the golden eggs now. Okay, let's run through our full picks, top to biggity bottom.
All right, you're rolling with me.
I will go first.
Okay.
Okay, first up for me, top to bottom, Ilya Topuria. Then Khamzat Chimaev. Then Leron Murphy. Followed by Alexander Rakic. Then we got Sharap Magomedov. RDA. Mikaleka Orabai. We got Bruno Ferreira. Kennedy Nshokwi. Farid Basharat. Henat Fakhreddinov. Ibo Aslan, and Ishmael Nurdayev. My most confident picks of those first two, last two, especially at the odds, right? So you just do a little Nurdayev, Aslan, you do Khamzat, Topuria, and then in between, a little sprinkle it's a 4-fight parlay right there. Little make a 5-fight parlay where you drop Bruno Ferreira on there. Then you make a 6-fight parlay where you sprinkle Sharap Magomedov on there. Those are my 6 most confident for you right there. And then solo bet, or actually throw Murphy on there too. That's a 7. Those are my 7 most confident. And I think Murphy even more than Sharap Bullet, even more than Bruno Ferreira, Murphy. So those are my 7 most confident out of 13. Everyone else is RDA, big dog, solo shot. Rakic, big dog, solo shot. Oral buy, I'd put him in second tier confidence. Kenny and Nshokwi, no bet. Farid Basharat, no bet. Fakhreddinov, no bet. All right, that's the story I got for you guys.
Yeah, I've got a lot of dogs on this one as well. I think I'm going to play a lot of solo bets and then, take some of the more reliable picks like Holloway in parlays, Holloway and Whitaker. But if you're rolling with me, I'm going with Holloway, Whitaker, Murphy, Rakic, Petrosian, Jeff Neal, Orlby, Ferreira, Kennedy and Chuckwee, Victor Hugo, Leal.
Slow down a little bit, baby. Slow down. I had Rakic, Petrosian, Neal, Orlby,
Ferreira and Chuckwee, Hugo, Leal, Cerquiera, and Silva.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, I got Topuria. We got Whitaker. We're good with Dan Ige. A little bit of Magomed Ankalaev. Shara Magomedov. RDA plus 250. We got Orlby. Abus Magomedov, A plus. Kennedy and Jukwu. Farid Basharat. Renat Fakhretdinov, tentatively. We got Rafael Charkoriara, and we got Ishmael Nordiev.
Only 2 Trophy certified picks for you, same as last week. Kennedy and Chuckwee and McKillick Orlby. Neither really in that great bettable range, so stay tuned for when we all finally agree and sync up for you. But other than that, yeah, no Trophy certified picks other than that. Couple that we have 2. All of them we have 2 out of 3 at least. But some of them were.
It's so funny. I was just telling my girlfriend that I had to explain that to you in the first year we were doing this show, that if it's not Triple P certified, that 2 of us have to agree and one of us is on an island by herself, because there's only 2 options.
But more often than not, the one on the island by themselves is wrong.
Your statistics are old. You need to update.
I will soon.
Because you pulled up an article from 2023, and I didn't bring this up because it was like, yeah, Max Holloway had 2,400 absorbed strikes in 2023.
He's had less. Like 3. In and out. Did he get less? Did he get less?
That's what I was saying. I didn't bring it up because clearly it would have been more now, dumbass. That's why I didn't bring it up while you were explaining it. I didn't bring up that
you off. He rolled the miles back on the odometer.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it up.
Please don't ask me any dumb questions.
All righty, boys. Thank you so much. We love you.
I got to go to bed.
We got to go to bed. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Let us know what you think in the comments. Peace.